Hello, I just bought some Frederic Malle samples, and today I would like to give you some quick first impressions of these four specific fragrances. These are Dans tes bras, Contre, Jour, then we have Le Parfum de Therese, and lastly, Music for a While. I'll start with Dans tes bras. That is maybe the one I like the most in these four samples. So first and foremost, this is a white musky, let's say, fragrance. And I don't like musk that much as a note. I'm starting to understand that. However, this isn't that bad, and maybe the one as I said, I like the most because, so from the start you get this vaguely, I would say like purple, bluish, like pastel, floral notes. I think there's violet, there's also heliotrope, but I wasn't necessarily able to identify the specific like floral note, but I got this like violet pastel color, at least imagery in my head when I smell this, and you get the muskiness from the get-go, this white muskiness that as the minutes go by, you smell it more because you lose the, let's say, you lose the more floral notes. They are always there, but they are obviously less in your face, less pungent. The thing I liked about this is that the muskiness, as usual, as it happens usually, this white musky smell becomes more rounded and let's say soft as the fragrance dries down. Musky fragrances for me, or the musky notes, have this punginess to them. Like in the nose, you feel them. They're, at least for me, I don't know if you have the same, if you get the same feeling, but it is something that it makes itself present and known. It's present, known. However, as it dries down, I think it becomes more softer and rounder, and I get why some people say that this reminds them of a clean, freshly cleaned sheet, and or freshly cleaned sheets in general. And as I said, nice smell, maybe more, I would say it leans more feminine. I don't know if I would ever buy this because, as I said, I don't like, let's say, musky notes that much, and maybe even florals. It depends on the other notes that are together with the florals, but not bad. Then we have, let's talk about Music for a While. So I don't have a lot to say about this one. It feels, it's a very sweet fragrance, but it feels, let's say, at least initially, it feels more synthetic, if that makes sense. It's a very fruity type of sweetness, but not a quote unquote natural fruitiness. At least that's what I get from this, because there isn't anything that's like fresh, even like watery, that sometimes accompanies some fruity notes, some fruity sweet notes. This feels more like, it reminded me of a specific like gummy bear sweet type of smell. And there are these I think they are like the worm shaped gummy sweets. I don't know if they're by Haribo. And there's one of these that they all have like all of different colors, and there's one of these worms that is half yellow and half purple, and that is the specific like smell and color I get from smelling this. As it dries down, I started to perceive more the ananas as a note. Initially, it was a bit of a mix of various things that I wasn't necessarily able to identify. It is too sweet for me, a bit too synthetic, but at least in how I perceive it. I'm not saying, obviously, by Frederic Malle standards, the ingredients are good, probably, but they are perceived that as, at least for me, as something synthetic and not to my taste. Let's put it this way. So let's put these aside. Let's talk about Contre Jour. Even here, I don't have much to say. I despise this fragrance. There's an immortelle that becomes very curry-like on my skin and vaguely like vinegarish. There's like this sort of vinegar, ruined vinegar type of smell. I don't know. It's pretty pungent. It stayed on my skin for days, and it just is. I didn't like it at all. Maybe the Mortel fragrance or note that I preferred the most was Immortel Course by Parfum d'Empire. I think that was the least curry-like that I felt an Immortel to be. And as I said, this gets a bit weirdly vinegary. I don't know why, but in a bad way. So definitely not for me. And like one of the the few notes or the few samples by Frederic Malle that I actually hated. Lastly, the Parfum de Therese. This is also not a favorite of mine. Initially, I thought it was a very like white, musky fragrance with some, let's say, florals, or sorry, not florals, but some fruity notes. Like there is melon, there is prune in it. However, there isn't, musk in this, at least by Fragrantica's listing. But maybe that muskiness comes from the leather in the base, or maybe like the combination of leather and vetiver at the base combined with the fruitiness. But you get this strong and present, like vaguely white musky feeling that surrounds the notes and like the melon and that is very present initially, and slightly the prune. So all these fruity notes. Even in this case, not my favorite. I felt it to be too fruity, too musky, and maybe more feminine, I would say. Not my favorite. So maybe Dans Tebas is the one I liked the most. And let me know if you've tried these fragrances and what you think about them.